Hey there everyone, Antibeat1M here and welcome to my channel. I want to do a video on the idea of information overload in our lives, the course of our lives. So we live, 80 or 85 years on this planet normally. And we receive a lot of information and we impart a lot of information as well. But I wanted to ask the question, going back to the time you were at school, do you really think that everything that you learned at school was really so important? It's something I really want to ask you because life is, in my opinion, quite short. I've only lived half my life, but when you think about all the time I've wasted learning things which I didn't really need to learn and experiencing things which I didn't really need to experience, you start to wonder why life is the way it is and why our active conscious time is not better spent doing things which are, for one thing, more fun or more valuable in some way. So that's the question I want to ask you. Go back to your school age years and think about all the time you spent learning some different language, or it could be maths, or it could be science, or it could be geography or history or something. Now, you might say to me, okay, Mark, everything that we learn contributes in some degree towards some sort of enlightenment at the end, which may well be true to a certain extent. But I would also say that because life is a question of both efficiency and ethics, we must reconsider how we absorb all the information that we get. And of course, the ad hoc way in which we receive information on social media, on Facebook, for example, even on YouTube and other social media platforms, the information that we receive is received with so much randomness and ad hoc, dynamic that I really feel that it's completely inefficient, and it's not the sort of thing that I want to do with my years and spend a random time learning things which really, really don't matter in the end. Life is supposed to have meaning, and I think that we can find deeper meaning with our lives by efficientizing and making more ethical what we receive in forms of information. So my basic point is that we should be more pragmatic in what we choose to take in. Now, there are very many people in this world who live inefficient lives and can't process information very well. These people are not real scientists. They're not real thinkers. And it's unfortunate that they turned out that way based on their upbringing and so on. A lot of them can't be changed, and it's unfortunate. But I think, trying to veganize someone or make someone a vegan natalist or something, really, really difficult. And they can do certain things, and they're obviously very talented in certain things like doing art or doing a business with other people or something like that. But in terms of thinking ethically and thinking with integrity and with real efficiency, it's really hard to get the point across to them. So that's something I want you to think about. I wrote down here, a decision about what we receive, what information we receive in our lives is better than making no decision at all and letting it just be random and ad hoc. We have so much information in the day and age of the internet that we need to be much more selective. And that's where, for example, living modeling takes its place. Living modeling is modeling the life that we lead to maximize and optimize the consciousness experiences that we have. So you might, for example, this is just an example, you might have a very sexualized experience or intimate experience with somebody, a lover, for example. And you want to know how to make that experience as optimal and as refreshing and as vitalizing as possible. You wouldn't just do things ad hoc. You would plan things very carefully or someone could plan it for you very carefully and make sure that the experience that you have is the one that's most valuable. These things don't happen at random. I want to emphasize the fact that science is not about being random. So, as Einstein once said, God does not play dice. And obviously that's a pretty controversial sort of statement. But the point that I'm trying to make with that statement is that a lot of human existence can be contrived in a positive way to make sure that our experiences are as optimal as possible. I'll just give you an example of some of the things in my life which have been pretty good and pretty bad. So some of the things I'm most proud of, for example, are creating board games and card games out of traditional cards. These things have encouraged me to think creatively and to think laterally about the things that we play and that sort of thing. And games are a great thing to invent, even and equally good to play, I suppose. But let's think of other examples which have been more negative in my life. For example, the study of law at the University of New England, which I did a few years, maybe a year or so ago. It was, for me, it taught me that law in itself is not very, very efficient at all. There's so much stuff to learn which is so, to my mind, really, really irrelevant and doesn't make you a better person as such. It doesn't make you a better lawyer to start off with, but it doesn't make you a better person either. So in order to become the person that we want to be and to self-actualize, we need to think about all these things like how efficient the things that we are learning and how useful and how practical they really are. So I hope this video has given you some food for thought, and I hope that you stick around with me on this channel and leave a comment in the section below, and I will see you next time with much more news to come. Hope you had something to think about in this video. Bye for now.